Alright, so I just finished my first week of my sophomore year in college. It went pretty good. I'm pretty excited to see what the year has in store, but I've just been seeing so many clueless freshmen wandering around with really scared looks on their face. They don't know where they're going, they don't know who to ask, and they're scared to see what the year has in store. This kind of got me thinking to make a list of things that I wish I would have known coming into the freshman. These are obviously subjective to my first year and my friend's first year in my college, which is very different than any other college. I go to Western Washington University. It's a state school about 15 miles away from the border of Canada and Washington State, so really high up there. But it's a really awesome school. It's a liberal arts school. I think there's about 16,000 students. But anyways, so the first thing on my list, and I really hope I don't scare you by saying this, but that your first 2 to 6 weeks are gonna suck. And that's just because you're in a new city, possibly a new state. None of your old friends are there for you, and you're going through all this change, and you don't have anyone to talk to about it. And you don't know how it works. You don't know how the school works. You don't know where all your classes are. You're not used to this type of coursework. It's just there's so much change, and a lot of culture shock that comes along with college because it's very different than high school, and just you're for most people's first time away from their parents' house. The good news is that will wear off, which kind of leads into my second tip, and that's to fight the urge to go home. Now, I know that this is very subjective because probably most of you that are watching this video, your regular hometown is states away from your school. But in my school, there is, I think, about 70% in-state students, which is kind of unusual. So a lot of students went home on the weekend, and including me. When I first came to college, I had a boyfriend back home, and I missed him so much, and I just wanted to go back home and see him every weekend. And so my first quarter of college, that's what I did. I just went home almost every weekend that I could. I would sometimes skip my Friday class so I could be there for 3 days. And my hometown was about a 3-hour drive, and I would take a bus there. And one way, 3-hour drive one way. So it's pretty far still. And because of that, it actually made my homesickness worse because I was missing out on all the fun weekend stuff. I wasn't making as many friends as I should have been, and I was missing out on a lot of the cool stuff that Western had to offer. So it was just making me resent Western a little bit more. So I know the first few weeks are going to suck and you're going to want to go home, but I really, really, really recommend fighting through that urge and just staying and branching out and trying new things. And my third big tip that I had was don't come in limiting your options. And what I mean by that is don't come in saying, this is what I want to do. This is the only thing I want to take classes for. I know what I want to be when I grow up. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of you do know, but it's perfectly okay. And I honestly recommend going in with a completely open mind and not having any idea what you want to do. Because when I first came to Western, I was like, I want to be an elementary education teacher. I already know what I need to do. This is the class that I need for my major, and I don't need to take anything else. And my first quarter, I actually got a job volunteering at an elementary school, and I realized that that was not what I wanted to do. And so then I started taking just a bunch of random classes, and I actually found my passion through taking a random class, and now I know that I want to do speech therapy. And so now that's what I'm focusing on, but I'm still keeping my options open. So I really, really recommend coming in with a completely open mind. Another big tip that I really, really wish that people had told me was that despite what anyone tells you in college, grades do matter. They matter a lot. And I don't necessarily mean like you're not going to be grown up and in a job interview and they're going to say, oh, what was your GPA? And not hire you because your GPA wasn't a 4.0. No. What I mean by grades mattering is when I first came in thinking I want to do elementary education, that's just a 4-year degree. And basically all I need to do is just pass my classes, which is a C or better. So my first quarter of college, I didn't really care. Like, I'd get a C on a test and I would be like, good job, woo, you passed, yay! But then I changed my mind and realized that I wanted to do speech therapy. Well, speech therapy is, I need to get a master's degree, which is 6 years. And to do that, I need to get into grad school. And speech therapy is an extremely competitive job. Getting into grad school is really hard. And most grad schools won't even look at my application if I don't have a 3.5. And because I did get pretty much all C's my first quarter in college, I'm really struggling to get my GPA up to even be able to go to grad school. So go in, study your butts off, and get B's and A's. All right, my next tip. Use your academic resources. And this is something that my friends don't do, but I try really hard to do. And that is to every quarter, I go to my counselors. I have them look at all my classes. The counseling is free. It's offered through your school. And I have them kind of map out what I should be taking next quarter. Because I've had a lot of friends not want to take the time to go talk to their counselor and end up taking the wrong classes that they needed, and they didn't even need those classes, so that sets them behind. They're not going to graduate on time now. They wasted all that tuition money for literally nothing that counts towards anything at all. And if they had just gone and talked to their counselors and helped their counselors map out their classes for them, they would be graduating on time, and they wouldn't have wasted all that money on books and tuition and all that brain power for a class that didn't matter. My next one is, and this really hit home for me last year, is it's okay if you don't like your roommate. In the dorms, I had this one roommate, and we just didn't like each other. We never hung out. We never really talked. And I remember right away I knew that me and her just weren't going to get along. She was very, very quiet. I was very, very social, and so it bothered her when I had friends over. She didn't really ever want to do anything. She just kind of wanted the room to be quiet all the time and stuff. So I remember, like, my first, 3 weeks of school, I would call home crying to my mom about, oh my god, my roommate doesn't like me. I'm not going to have any friends. She was my only shot at getting a friend when I first came in. And it's totally okay if you don't like your roommate. It happens, and it happens a lot. I'd say only about a third of my friends got along with their roommates, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt your social life. I thought for some reason going into college that me and my roommate were supposed to be just like this, and me and my roommate were going to do everything together, and we were going to be best friends and go out together every night and share our deepest secrets and all this stuff. No. And it doesn't normally work that way. So don't feel bad that you don't like your roommate. My next one is to step out of your comfort zone. When coming to college, you're probably going to go into culture shock because the city is so different than what you grew up with, and you're going to be uncomfortable. And also, to make new friends, it's an uncomfortable process to say, oh, hey, let's go hang out. It can be for some people. And just step out of your comfort zone. Try new things. Go new places. Talk to new people. Talk to someone that you wouldn't have talked to in high school. Ask them out for coffee. Go to the gym together. Just always be willing to try something new. Don't go into closed mind because you probably won't have fun. My next one is join a group. And I know people are always going to tell you this, but that's where you really, really, really find something that you do maybe once a week, once a month, but you really find people that share common interests, and they kind of become your second family. For me, I'm in two groups. I play intramural volleyball, and I play once a week all year long. And me and my volleyball friends have become like this. I didn't know any of them when I first started playing volleyball, and they've just been wonderful. We always hang out. We always text each other. We always just make plans, and it's just like a second family. And then my other group that I'm in is I go to the Chabad, which is a Jewish house, every Friday for Shabbat dinner. And it's just, they've always been there for me. When I was going through hard times, my rabbi would call me and just see how I'm doing. And I actually got to go to Israel with them this summer, and it was just a really, really great experience. And they definitely feel like a second family to me. So, like I said, step out of your comfort zone, join a group that you never would think to join before, and you'll probably find something good out of that. Another tip is don't overload with coursework. So I know for my school, I take 15 credits a quarter about. Sometimes I take less. I've even been a part-time student in my spring quarter last year. And in high school, you had 6 classes, and you'd have all your classes every day. And so you come to college and you're like, what? I only go to this class twice a week? Well, I could totally take 5 classes. I can take 20 credits. Don't do that. College classes are way different, and part of the college experience is to be able to have a social life and do new things and step out of your comfort zone and join a group and all this stuff. And if you're doing homework 24/7 or in class 24/7, you're going to be miserable. And it's not even necessary. You're going to graduate on time. As long as you see your counselor and talk to them, you're going to be fine. So don't overload. Another one is, you're in college. Have fun. Party. Socialize. Try new things. But also know your limits. I know a lot of girls and guys too that just get blacked out drunk and they can't handle themselves, and they sleep with strangers, they have unprotected sex, they get in trouble with the cops and all this stuff, and it's not fun. Like, I know it sounds like, oh, well, I'm in college now, I don't care if I sleep around or all this stuff, but later on you might regret it. So it's just, when you're or if you're trying new drugs or anything, like, I personally think that it's fine to try things as long as it's not too intense. But just really know your limits and know what you're comfortable with. Just because everyone else is comfortable with doing stuff doesn't mean you have to. And I've turned down a lot of things that other people have been doing. So just kind of learn like what you're comfortable with, and only you know what is right for you. So that's an important one. And then my last tip that I could think of, and this is going to sound so tacky, and I guess it kind of depends on what school you go to, but use the bus. Like, a lot of freshmen are really scared to leave campus and explore the city because it's out of their comfort zone, or they're scared of buses for some reason. But it's free, at least for me, it's free where I live. And where I live, they have a really awesome bus system, and I've really been able to explore my city of Bellingham, and like, no one brought their car up. A lot of schools, I guess, don't even let freshmen bring their car up, and it's just, the bus is a really awesome alternative to learn the roads. Now as a sophomore, I have my car, but I used the bus all last year, and I even had a job at a grocery store, and it was fine. So I guess this video is long, and I apologize for that, but those were just some important tips that I wanted to get out that I wish someone had told me going into my freshman year. But thank you. Talk for now. Good luck.